Tanche, Scott Duffy Nishkashon, Unmachifnia. My name is Scott Duffy, and I'm a Métis from Saskatoon. We're here on Treaty 6 territory, homeland of the Métis. These are Cree lands that we are on right now, Nehiyawak lands. This is also traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and the Assiniboine, the Nakota. This is the traditional territory of the Lakota, Dakota, the Dene peoples as well. And I'm not sure if I said this is Métis homeland territory, but I always like to say that twice anyway, so. And welcome. Boy, am I glad to see all of you here tonight. It's a very, very special thing that you're about to be a part of tonight. You're here at the Free Flow's International Dance Week Festival. Tonight is the final show of this year's Dance Week Festival. And the festival is put on to celebrate dance, but especially because April 29th is International Day of Dance. So I would encourage all of you to shake a leg when you get home, dance while you're doing the dishes, and on April 29th especially, honor the power of dance. And tonight especially, I hope we can all appreciate the power of dance. So I don't know if Jackie Latendresse, she is the artistic director of Free Flow Dance Theatre Company, and I don't know if she arranged the performances in such a way to lead up to tonight's performance, or if it was just serendipity. But through all the performances this week, I've really connected with a theme of how interconnected we all are and how important it is to be inclusive and compassionate, and how we all have a certain responsibility to transform that divisive, combative, dominating type energy that we're stuck in society sometimes, how we all have a bit of a responsibility to transform that back into the love that created all of us. And so this week, I've felt that in all the performances. Then I saw the two dancers rehearse this afternoon. And what they're doing is so big that I can't really come up with words for it. So I apologize for that. I'm doing my best. It's just they've connected to something really big, and it's big for everyone. Reymark, Capacete, and sorry, one second. What's that? Gabriela, Garcia, Ortiz. They've done some really important work to create this piece. And I don't want to influence your response to it, because art is, we all get our own thing out of it. But they've done research to create this piece, historical research about some really dark aspects of colonization that they have in common in their heritage of Philippines and Mexico. And they have found a way to express the power that we all have to transform in some way. That's the best I can say to describe it. I really have a hard time articulating what they've done here. To me, it is so special. Their piece is called Tuba, and that is named for a iconic beverage that originally comes from the Philippines and found its way to Mexico on the slave ships that came from Philippines to Mexico when the Spanish culture had enslaved some Filipino people and brought them to Mexico for labor. And that's when that drink went to Mexico and then became an iconic drink in Mexico as well. And somehow these dancers seem to naturally find a way to show the resilience and the power of love in the face of darkness in their piece by researching the history of this drink and turning that history into dance. I have a hard time to even conceptualize it. For one, I can't dance like them too. I tried. I took their class. I tried. And for two, they choreographed this themselves. They came up with this themselves based off their own research and their own way of connecting to, like, I don't want to speak for them, but they connected to something very special in this process that is massively clear to me, and that's why I have a hard time to find words for it. Please welcome Gabriela and Reymark to perform their piece called Tuba. Gabriela, Garcia, Ortiz, Reymark, Capacete. Please give them another round of applause. So these two are a little younger than me, a little bit, but they're young people who I already look up to. And I really appreciate that when I meet people like that. So who's ready to talk a little bit? You're both really out of breath. You worked so hard.
I can talk.
I can talk,
yeah.
Thank you. Gabriela Garcia Ortiz.
Yes. Yes.
What aspects of your identity and your research found their way like into the movements of this piece?
I will say like resilience. Yeah, like despite all the like the background and the why of why we share so much, we're here and we're able to connect and celebrate each other and understand each other. So I think it's that connection, resilience, and just like how you say at the beginning, like love makes the good things and the valuable things persevere, and it's also like a source of strength, you know.
I agree. I agree. Okay, Reymark, it's your turn.
Can you repeat that question, please?
I'm going to pick a new question for you. This is kind of like Ernest gets a hold of the microphone, you know? Like Ernest goes to camp. These are these old movies I used to watch. That's how I feel right now. So for you, Reymark, well, first of all, I want to get some things straight. You two developed this choreography together, is that right? And did you also come up with the music together?
Reymark did.
Actually, with the music, thank you. Actually, with the music, it was a lot of research in terms of like looking through like Spotify or YouTube, and really finding the different qualities of like what the story we're trying to tell about. Like, for example, looking for the ocean, the waves, those even like those birds whistling. I really had to like choose a bunch of different playlists just to see the right one. And actually the thunderstorm, I like got it from like a very small amount and then just repeated it. So kind of like edit through the music as well. But yeah, I think I used 6-7 songs, and then I mixed them all up just to kind of get the beginning all the way to the end, like just the way we, I guess, performed it. Yeah.
So choreography, music, and performing. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you.
Can you kind of outline the journey of what you were telling us about and how the movements express that, like from the start, you know, there was a feeling of the boat, likely the slave ships in there, and then some of your dance movements were, you know, how did all those movements line up to tell the story? If you can kind of articulate that a little bit.
Actually, we started creating without music. It was just like, I guess, thought. Sorry, thanks. I'm not really used to speaking in public, that's why. But I guess it started out in my house, right? Like my house, just like a few vocabulary words that we use, and then try to like, I guess, think of a movement with those vocabulary. And yeah, I guess like the first theme that we always like went to was water. Like we want to be fluid. We want to be, because I feel like what we're trying to represent, which is tuba, is a drink. So we're trying to do a lot of movements through like water, like fluid, like yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. Gabriela, from your perspective, what is the symbolism in the drink, tuba?
Well, like continuing with what Reymark was saying, like water is very like soft, but it can also be very strong, and over time it can like cause change. So obviously water because of the ocean. Tuba came from the ship that you say, and it was like a direct route from Manila in the Philippines to Acapulco, a port in Mexico. So it's that journey. But I will say also what I think about in terms of our personal relationship is how our connection and we met 7 years ago and we started discovering like the things we had in common, and it just started like building up. And I feel like it came to like this opportunity that Free Flow offered, that we were like, okay, it's like time to gather all that information that we have and all that sharing experiences that we have, in like put it in like a dance. So I think it's about taking the good things that came from colonization, trying to transform that message, trying to transform our own experiences as people from a colonized country, and how can we come out of that better and united. I think that's something important. Like, if we are together, we're stronger, right? So I think it's that, like, just finding that connection and that things that are like still ours from our countries, from our cultures, and joining forces to be stronger. I don't know that.
And like, I would love to add something to that. Like, just the rehearsal process as well was like pretty intense. With like, despite us having like busy schedule, like I feel like all of our rehearsals were mostly at night until 11 or 12 a.m. or like 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. And it was like we've already done so much during the day, and I feel like brainstorming, gathering those ideas was like also a hard part to come up with our body being like exhausted. But it was nice that we were able to power through and create something for you guys to see. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, because we've all benefited from your work tonight. So, yes. How long have you two known each other?
Yeah, 7 years, 2017.
7 years. When did you start exploring together this historical connection? And I don't like, to use that word, historical. It's a travesty to say history is history when so much of it is still present. But when did you discover that connection that you had both in your background, I guess we'll say?
It was through my mom's cooking.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, our first rehearsal, because he was at Reymark's house, Reymark used to share his food with me at school, and I was like, oh, this is kind of like the same food that we have in Mexico. It either had the same name or it was similar ingredients, and then instead of using corn like we do in Mexico, they use rice. And I was like always joking, like, I wanna go meet your mom and eat her cooking. So our first rehearsal was really special for me because I was like, oh, this is my dream come true after 7 years. And it was really, as someone that lives away from home and away from my parents, my family, it was like, I felt at home, like at Reymark's house. It was just like, oh, I'm at home. And it's, I don't know, it was like, I think that thing that's what we try to put into this work.
Okay, thank you. How long have you two been collaborating on this piece specifically?
Oh, this piece probably, when did we start?
I think,
April? February?
well, I think the idea came in December of last
December,
year.
yeah.
Like just the idea of like the theme.
Yes, yeah.
And then we started in,
I guess when we
Mid-March.
got the opportunity to apply for Free Flow Dance Festival, I think that was when we fully started like committing to making a collaborative piece. Yes, but we have worked in the past like independent project for Nuit Blanche back in 2022. Yeah.
Okay. Great. So for this piece specifically, I'll ask you both the same question because I'm really curious. What was your research process like? Because I understand you kind of both had an individual approach to your own research on this in this piece. So Reymark, I'll start with you. What did your process of research and connection look like for this piece?
I think for me, it was trying to go back to my roots and understanding it. And actually, I did little research in terms of internet and all that stuff. It was mostly asking my parents because I feel like where I grew up, they know more. I came in Winnipeg when I was 7, and I've never been back since. So like, I had to really ask them like what our city was like, and just like the traditional dances. Like I feel like I was always introduced to it, but then never really took part on like what it really is and what it really meant. So like I guess asking my parents all those questions just helped me understand more about myself and also about the culture that I have. And yeah, with Gabby there as well, like she did most of the research and I kind of just like listened to her, like she summarized everything.
So
for me.
part of your research process was listening to Gabriela.
Yeah, very, yes.
You're a
I was like, I would listen to her and then I would like, okay, I think I know the movement that you're trying to tell me.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So you've got some wisdom already in your young
Thank
years.
you.
Yes. Yes. And was it what region of the Philippines is
I'm
it
from
down?
Luzon.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes, yeah.
And you were able to connect to the dances from that region?
Yes, yes. It was mostly I guess, the famous traditional dances from my city is tinikling, which is 2 bamboo sticks, and it's used a lot in folk dance. And also one of them was the coconut dancing, which there were a few movements that we used through that, but I guess turned it into contemporary dance, contemporary art, yes.
Yeah, and the tuba drink does come from the coconut
Yes,
tree
yeah,
as well. So
yeah.
there's obviously
That
connection
yeah.
there. Yeah, and those movements found their way into this piece, from what I understand. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. So Gabriela, can you describe your process of research for this piece?
I'm just gonna add that I think Reymark and I work together because we are very different. So we complement each other. I feel like, yeah, I'm more like reading and like all that, and he's more like about action and doing things. So I feel like, um,
I'm not book smart. That's what it is.
no. It's just like we have different approaches to things, and I feel like that's really makes it very whole because we have like a bit of both things. In terms of my research, we were at my apartment when we were like kind of finding a specific theme, and we found about the drink, and then I did some reading about it, and I also talked to my dad, who knows a lot about, like he likes to read a lot and talk about it. Maybe that's why I'm like that too. But he studied history too and has a lot of knowledge of where to find sources with different approaches, because a lot of history is written by European white people, so it's kind of like finding other sources to have different perspectives. So I had conversations with him, and I also had a chance at the beginning of this year to go to Mazatlan. That is the city where Tuba is so famous and so common. And I like went to different places. There's like statues and there's like a lot of history there. So I took pictures and like just kind of like got inspired by the land.
So Mazatlan is famous for its involvement in the tuba drink, is that right? Or
That's the only place where they sell it. Yeah, it's very like specific. That's why I found it so interesting, because in Mazatlan people are like, this is a drink, like it's our origin and everything, and then it's like it comes from somewhere else, but like they have embraced it, right?
So your dad's a historian. He helped you read through the lines of colonial history to get closer to the truth. And you actually traveled to Mexico, to the city where they produce this drink, to do research for this piece.
Well, it wasn't intentional.
Oh,
I was
okay.
visiting my family, and just the place where I land is really close, so it was kind of like a perfect opportunity. And yeah, we went there with my family and like spent, I think, one day actually, just like walking around downtown and like seeing all these things that are related to it. And like I was having a lot of conversations with my dad at the moment of like, Mazatlan is still a big, we get a lot of imports and exports, so there's a lot of big boats and stuff. So it was like kind of trying to imagine what it was like before. So yeah, it was like a special time, but it was just a coincidence.
So that must be why I got the impression that something special came together in this piece. You know, a lot of coincidences and things like that just kind of came together at the right time. And I really sensed that when I saw that piece. And yeah, that's where I struggled to put words into something that comes from somewhere else. And that's why I really honor what you've done here tonight, because you've taken something that comes from a special place, that somewhere else place, and you've brought it to us.
Thank you so
And
much.
that's a special thing that I really want to honor you both for that.
Yeah, thank you. We also want to thank Jackie, because if it wasn't for this opportunity, I feel like we wouldn't gotten into the action of doing it.
Yes.
I feel like sometimes projects is very easy to just like stay in that imaginary world. So thank you so much, Jackie, Free Flow Dance Theater, for the opportunity.
Okay, well, that was humdinger good. I really appreciate your words. I really appreciate what you brought to us tonight. And could I ask you two to please stand up and take another bow?
If you guys do come to Mexico, make sure to try Tuba.
That concludes this year's International Dance Week Festival, put on by Free Flow Dance Theater Company under the artistic direction of Jackie Latondres in their 30th year this year. So that's a big deal. And I'd like to express some gratitude to the International Women of Saskatoon for providing their volunteer services to make this happen. I'd also like to express gratitude to 5x5 Audiovisual because they put massive expertise into making this all come together and collaborating with the artists. And also gratitude to the Government of Canada for funding this, and to Sask Lotteries, Sask Culture, and Sask Arts Board, all provided funding as well. So gratitude to them, and gratitude to all of you for being here. Dance really is, it's a shared process in my mind. I know every time I dance, like I dance alone in the kitchen sometimes, you know, maybe in my room at night. But mostly, I like to dance for people. And I like to really share that with people, and I like to dance with other dancers. And, but it means so much more when people are watching and getting something out of it. So I know it's a shared thing, and so your presence here tonight is much appreciated. So thank you all. Have a wonderful evening. Capacete.